Hello, hello, everyone. How you guys doing on tonight? Come on in, like, comment, share, and subscribe. So, hello, Facebook. Hello, YouTube. And for those of you who don't know me, I am Shalita Marshall, your divorce coach strategist. So, come on in and join us on tonight. So last week, I had the opportunity to share my story of living with depression. And tonight, I have the pleasure of having guest Deon Stafford join me as she shares her story of overcoming depression and coping with anxiety.
Hey, all right.
How are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So this is
Good.
Deon Stafford, everyone. She is a podcast host. She is a content creator and the producer of Woosah Just Breathe. So again, come on in, comment, like, share this video, and subscribe to our YouTube channels.
While they are coming in, I am going to go to your page here
And share it.
and try to share the link on here. All right. It's on your personal page or is it on your creative
Yes,
coaching?
my personal page.
Okay, let me get there then. That's where I'm not.
Yep. So, you guys, May is Mental Health Month. So, we are just sharing our personal life experiences of dealing with depression, anxiety, just anything that deals with the mental illness that's not really talked about in our community. So I'm just going to share what depression is. Depression is a mood disorder that involves a persistent feeling of sadness or loss of interest. And depression is an ongoing problem that's not a passing one, so it can consist of um, lasting for days, weeks, months, or even years. So that's why a lot of people can actually be functioning while they are depressed as well and having anxiety just because living with those symptoms and not addressing them or seeking help for those things, it allows you to continue to just coping with those, developing a coping mechanism that, until that one thing triggers and then you just explode. So I just want to share what anxiety means. Anxiety is an emotion characterized by feelings of tension, worriness, difficult thoughts, any physical change. Like some people get high blood pressure. Some people, man, develop diabetes, just all types of different things, just from having these illnesses develop in their body. So studies have shown that over 4 million people in the US are actually diagnosed with anxiety disorder. So, yeah, that's a lot. And I'm just here to share again it's okay if you are dealing with these things and get help. Like, you don't want to sit here and be dealing with this forever. It's okay to get help, it's okay to talk to someone. And if you don't have that support system around you, find you another group of people that can actually hear you and see you and support you during this journey. So,
Exactly.
Dion, do you have anything you want to say right quick on that?
Well, you described depression and anxiety perfectly. It is a sense of fear, a sense of feeling like you don't have any control, a lot of self bashing,
Yeah.
low self esteem, being envious of others, even, and you don't even realize or know why you are feeling like you're not good enough,
Oh, yes.
um, or you can't. Why is it always me, or why me, or you know what I'm saying? It's not. not really just feeling good about yourself. Really,
Mhm.
you don't realize it when you are experiencing it. You don't realize it. You just think that everything's okay and you're just dealing with it. For me, I was labeled the strong one.
Mhm.
Being labeled the strong one, it's like you just I prided myself on it. I just take a licking and keep on ticking. Things would happen to me, and I just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. Trying to make sure that it wasn't getting me down, and the whole time
Mhm.
was feeding my spirit all of this negativity and me not having any boundaries and not knowing how to say no and just
Oh
trying to get
yeah.
along with everybody and doing what I felt like was right for everybody else and not really necessarily what was right for me. And
Mhm.
so
Oh yeah, I
that
can definitely relate to that.
and you become just trying to make sure everybody else is good when you're not good. But it
Mhm.
doesn't matter to you. You don't realize that you're putting yourself on the back burner. You just figure this is my personality. I just want to help people, or I just want to be there for my family, or I just want to be there for my friend. And the whole time you are taking on their load, you're taking on their spirit, you're taking on their energy, you're taking on whatever they have going on in their lives, and you're
Right.
making it your own.
Mhm.
On
Yeah,
top of
and that's why I feel it's important that in the word God does says that we are not to carry the load of other people's. We're not supposed to carry everybody's burden. And that's one thing that I realized with myself I was doing. I was picking up everybody's burden and taking it on as my own because I realized I'm a people pleaser.
hmm
So I want to help, want to fix, want to please, and make sure everybody is good and everybody's happy. And that was depleting me on the inside instead of actually really helping,
exactly.
because I needed help at the end of the day.
Exactly. And then a lot of times you don't realize it, things you have your own life, your real life that you live, and it's in shambles because you're ignoring what's really going on in your life to try
Yeah.
to fix somebody else's life. So your life kind of goes to the wayside. You don't look at your problems, and then
Mhm.
one day you wake up and you're this exploding volcano.
Mhm. Mhm. So that leads me to my question. So how was your mental state before you noticed that you was dealing with any depression?
I had dealt with depression actually when I was a teenager. A little bit of depression when I was a teenager. I would get depressed if something, you know, I never felt like you might see me snack. That's a gnat. But um, I dealt with it a little bit as a teenager, really. Just trying to fit in, trying to get good grades.
Oh yeah.
Like my cousins, they were all straight A students or B students, and I was struggling. You know,
So you
I
were trying to keep up.
right, I was struggling. I had some struggles, and just hearing other people. I was boy crazy, so I was told, "You fast, you this, you that, you this," and just taking on all of that stuff. Um, it was just a lot, just being a teenager, and then trying to like boys and not fully understanding and how relationships go and how they shouldn't go, and it was a lot. It was a lot.
Yes, I can imagine.
It was crazy. So I think my first suicide attempt was when I was 14, and I took I don't know how many extra strength Tylenol, and I was like, I just sleep my way out because it's just too much.
Hmm.
During
Oh,
that
I'm
time,
sorry you had to go through that.
yeah, a lot of people don't know because I don't talk about it, but
Well, how did you overcome that then? Like, how did you move past that to continue on? Because now you are an adult and have your own family.
um, I don't know. I guess I take licks and I keep ticking.
Hmm.
You know, at 14, when I woke up from that long sleep,
Hmm.
I said, well, okay, that didn't work.
Hmm.
So whatever, and I just kept going.
Mhm.
I didn't sleep away like I wanted to, and so I just kept going. And then my next suicide attempt was, I think I was probably about 18 or 19 years old. I had already had a baby at 16,
Mm.
and things were tight at home. Things were strenuous at the house. And my mom, I was raised in church, rooted and grounded in church,
Mhm.
and where I guess she thought maybe I was just doing it for attention, but I was just stressed out. I just needed to get away, and I felt like I didn't have the freedoms as my friends.
Mhm.
Say, I'll be back. I'm
Mhm.
going over so and so house. I didn't have that freedom.
Mhm.
If you're going out, you need to be gone by 9, and you need to be back by 12.
Mm. Yeah.
It was strict. You know what I'm saying? And my boyfriend at the time, he had to work late, and he was gonna be, it's like I'm not. I was like, well, don't go home, don't take a shower, just pick me up when you get up from work, or else she's not gonna let me out the house. And then one of my little sisters was doing something to me, and I just kind of like I was washing dishes, trying to get all my chores done so I could get out. And she said something to me or did something to me, and I skeeted her with the water or whatever. She acted like I had tried to kill her with the water, but I was trying to kill her. But and so it was that moment. I guess it was just a lot going on.
Mhm.
Sometimes as a parent, when you're dealing with stuff, you don't realize that your kids take that on too. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Your
Uh-huh.
kids take on your burdens. And I think that with my mom dealing with my dad at the time and all that they had going on in their marriage, I kind of probably took some of that on mentally. And that night, I just wanted to get away. It had nothing to do really with seeing my boyfriend. I just wanted to get out the house. I just needed to go. And she said that my mom said I couldn't go because it was getting too late. It was too close to 9. And
Wow.
I said, I called my boyfriend and I said, I can't go. I'm sick of this, blah, 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 whatever else. Typical 18-year-old tantrum is what I had.
Mhm.
And I remember going in the bathroom and I was standing in the mirror and I'm like, why is my life like this? I'm tired of this, and I slit my wrist. I hit it about 3 times. I hit it about 3 times and blood went everywhere. All up
And
private.
your mom was at home,
Yeah, she was in her room. She was in her room praying.
so you didn't like you didn't make a noise or anything. Like I mean, I don't know how that happened. I've never been that bold to try that, but
Nope.
and you just kept all that like to
No,
yourself.
I mean, my sister came in the restroom and she saw the blood everywhere. And she ran and got my mom. And then my mom came in. She's like, girl, what are you doing?
Mhm.
And I just looked at her. And so of
Wow.
course, the next thing was to like get a towel, put compression on it, try to stop the bleeding or whatever. And
Mhm.
by then, for whatever reason, my boyfriend still came, even though I told him not to. He
Mhm.
still came that night
Wow.
because he knew what I was dealing with at home. He was
Mhm.
more than just my boyfriend. He was my best friend.
Mhm.
I told him everything. And
Wow.
so he knew what I had been dealing with mentally.
Mhm.
Here, he knew because we had those talks.
Right.
Um, he still came. And when he got there, he was like, why are you trying to take you away from me? And so I remember it started to snow and it was cold and all of
Wow.
that stuff. And he went and got the bandages. He bandaged me up and he basically told my mom, I'm taking her with me.
Mhm.
Like,
Wow.
then what? So he got my baby, packed him a bag, and he took me with him. And he
So,
took care
how
of me.
long did you stay with him? So, like, did you feel like at ease or like a peace just leaving the house? And
I was
even though you know you had just done that, but like,
numb. Numb.
no.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I was numb. I think I stayed there for maybe 2 days, 2 or 3 days. And I just slept most of the time. I just slept. His mom was an RN, so I was in good care. Um,
Right.
she loved my baby like it was her own grandson. So she took
Hmm.
care of him. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't really eat. Um, I would shower and go back to sleep. I was just out of it. I was spent. It was just too much.
Yeah, because you was mentally drained. That's what happens. And then your
Yeah.
body is shut down.
Yeah, I was spent. I was spent mentally. I was spent spiritually. Um, didn't have that much spiritually to start out with at 18. You know,
Yes, right.
so I was empty there and mentally just spent. My
Mhm.
emotions were all over the place, and I just wanted a way out. So I felt like I just wanted a way out, and it took um, my boyfriend at the time sitting down and was like, "Stay. If nothing is that bad, where you
Mhm.
have to kill yourself. You know, look at this little boy right here. You have a
Mhm.
little boy. You know, you this." And I'm like, I have a high school dropout. What I make what was the minimum wage back then? $3.75 an hour.
Ooh, wow. I.
Okay, 18 years old. I'm on the government assistance. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't know what I wanted to do in life. I was just basically baffled with life and lost and confused. And I got this baby that need a mama and they need to be taken care of and typical, baby daddy
You were
situation.
just coexisting in the world, you know.
Right, right. I didn't, all my friends were out living their best lives. Even the ones that had babies was living their best lives. And
Mhm.
here I was being a mama,
Mhm.
trying to work and make an end. Forget about
Right.
it.
So like
Me,
your teenage years basically came to a halt, you know, like you didn't get to finish
none of that.
being a teenager.
I didn't have a prom experience. I didn't have a graduation experience. I didn't have a first date. Well, I did have a first date experience, but I didn't have all the experiences that, the milestones of being a teenager.
Mhm.
I skipped that. Becoming
Right.
a mom, I skipped that. I missed out on a lot.
Mhm. So even though I know this not like on topic, but do you, you know, did you feel like you had regret from that, like being in that situation and to not finish, like going to school and those type of things? Because you know, we take on that, and that's what causes sometimes as well. You know, our mental breakdown. You know,
I had a
just
lot of
thinking
regret.
about the past and reliving it and wishing that we could have done things differently.
I felt like a total failure.
Mhm.
I felt like I couldn't do anything right. I couldn't get anything right, and I was just a total and absolute failure.
Mhm.
Like I just jacked up my whole life. That's how I felt,
Right. Yeah.
just completely jacked up my whole life. I felt that way.
Mhm.
I felt like, maybe what some of my relatives said, you're gonna be pregnant living in the projects with a man to beat you across your head every day. You know, I was told those types of things.
Right. And so, yeah, and at some point you start to believe those things. You know, people don't understand, you know, that's why it says that we do have power in our words, you know,
Right. We got
because
that's what I
sometimes
would say.
um they do stick with us, and most of the words that we're told when we're younger, that is what helps shape us. Like that's just from my personal experience. Like the words we're told shape us.
Mhm. When you tell a little girl, you're just fast, you just fast, you just
Hmm.
fast, you just fast, you just fast. Well, maybe you want to find another way to communicate.
Right.
She's not
Right.
bad. She's normal. She likes
Mhm.
toys. What do you want her to do?
Right. So
You know,
you keep her in the house and you keep her around boys, then you won't have to say that.
okay. But it's just that was the thing. And so I dealt with those things. And at the time, you wouldn't think that it would affect you.
Right.
They're just things that people say, or they're just things that family members say,
Yes.
but they don't see the good in you,
Mm-hmm.
because in their minds, you're underdeveloped. So, my God, you're 18. You haven't even lived life. You got all this other stuff to experience. What are you
Mm-hmm.
talking about? What are you whining about? What's your problem?
Right. Yes.
You don't have no bills,
Right.
but
Right. You should be good. You don't have anything to worry about. That's what I used to hear. You don't have anything to worry about.
exactly. I'm like, but it's not that simple. It's not that easy. Where you're
Right.
just like, whatever. No. So all of those things um took effect on my psyche. Again, I'm the clock that takes a licking and keep on ticking.
Mm-hmm.
I just kept going, you know. Okay, so yeah, I just kept going. I've never been one to accomplish something somebody said that I couldn't accomplish and then turn around and say, I did it.
Right.
Now what? Because again, I kept going. I always had the mentality to just keep going,
Hmm.
just keep going.
Yeah. So here we are, like today at Dion this age. What caused the mental breakdown this time?
This time, was quite a bit. My uncle, who helped raise me, was diagnosed with throat cancer.
Hmm.
His wife is deceased. He had no children. He had raised me and my cousin. And so when he got sick, of course, he made me his power of attorney.
Hmm.
Um, I'm thinking he's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. You know, he's gonna have this throat surgery, and he's gonna put a voice box in. He's gonna come home. He's gonna be good.
Right.
That's not what happened. Um, he ended up in a nursing home. He had several mini strokes that nobody knew that he was having. He could no longer walk,
Wow.
talk. He suffered from depression himself, having his life change so drastically, trying to
Hmm.
keep his spirits up, keep my spirits up. I'm dealing with that. I'm trying to, I have a son that was graduating at the time. My nest is about to be empty. I'm trying to figure things out there. Um, and then 2017, this bomb explodes in my life, in my
Hmm.
family life. You know what I'm saying? Um, Changes on my job even were
Yeah.
mentally draining to me. And then have a friend that you thought was a friend, and you find out the person that's not your friend, and it was all of that. All kinds of stuff was popping off.
Hmm.
Uh, but that just pushed me over the edge. And then some things went down with my oldest son. Um, that took a toll. And then from then on, it just felt like a domino effect. Things at church started happening. Then things happened with a group of my what I thought was my really really tight friends, my road dogs, my girls,
Right.
and
Yeah.
it was just one thing after the next thing after the next thing after the next thing, and um, then the guy that I was dating, he ended up getting laid off, and so we ended up breaking up because he had his issues, and you know me, I miss fix it. I'm gonna make it better. I'm trying to make it better. And he don't want me to make it better. So that added to that. And then you get on to the fact that um, stuff at work just became to be too much. And now I'm not speaking to my mom. That's
Yeah.
a lot.
So it's like you just had a lot of things just coming at you, kind of like at one time, like a domino effect. It was just hitting you, boom, 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 left and right.
I felt like I
And
was a tornado.
right. And then so when things like that happen, it's kind of like you don't even have time to breathe. Like, where do you go? Where do you turn? So
Right.
you didn't even, it's like you didn't have time to even process
Just
any of
kept
those things that happened.
I just kept going. Mind you, this is taking a toll. I have RA. No, you don't know what RA is. It's rheumatoid arthritis or rheumatoid disease because it can affect more than just your joints. It can
Mm-hmm.
affect your eyes, your heart, your lungs, your liver, whatever. And I have rheumatoid disease. I have glaucoma. I have uh, fibromyalgia. All of these things that deal with pain. And so I'm being diagnosed with all this stuff. And I'm young, like I'm 48. So you can imagine from 45 to 48, I'm young, man. And
Right.
all this stuff getting told to me, you
Like,
know what I'm
hold on,
saying?
who is this person now?
Yeah, and I'm starting to feel it in my body. And I'm telling myself, that's just in your mind. And the church people gonna tell you, you gotta have faith, you gotta hold on, you gotta pray,
Just
you gotta,
pray. Just pray
it's
about it.
gonna be okay. And I'm like, man, listen, um, it just wasn't working like that for me,
Hmm.
unfortunately. It didn't work out like that for me. The last draw, I'm leaving out a part. I ended up getting married to a childhood friend who
Mhm.
I should not have married. Great person, just the wrong person for me.
Right.
And that marriage was so draining. It was, I felt like I had just, I don't know, man, to think of it, it just weakens me. But it just, again, great person, just not the person for me.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
the
Yeah,
man,
and sometimes that happens, you know.
yeah, that didn't work out well. So of course that ended, and and now I'm dealing with all of the pandemic comes along, you
Right.
know, and it's crazy with that because right when the pandemic came along, I had just went to the doctor, and he's like, "Say, if you get this, you're gonna die. You don't have an
Right.
immune because of the medicines that you're taking. We're killing
Right.
your immune
And
system, so
and that was
you don't
my
kill you."
next question. Like, how are you dealing with this? You know, how are you dealing with anxiety during the pandemic?
Oh, okay, well, I went crazy. I That's how I dealt with it. I snapped.
Mhm.
Um, to the breaking my breaking point was some things that took place at work,
Mhm.
and I hadn't had a raise. I had been demoted. Been on my job now for 28 years, and
Oh,
never
wow.
had no issues. And now all of a sudden, I got these issues that
Mhm.
are really being made up by somebody else.
Right.
I'm not saying that I wasn't, creating some of the situations for myself, but still they were being amplified by
Right.
others.
So
And
so now you're dealing with workplace bullying
right, that
on
stuff
top of your personal life.
on top of my personal life and my jacked up spiritual life.
Mhm.
And I'm just saying, and
Mhm.
here we go with this pandemic and being told that if you get COVID, you're going to die, like hands down, you're out of here.
Wow.
And so I'm like, what do you do?
Right.
So now I got to get a note telling, trying to explain to my job, can I work from home? Because I can't be around people because
Mhm.
I'm immunocompromised. Now I'm confined to my house. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not really letting anybody come over here because y'all not gonna kill me.
Right.
I'm not gonna kill myself.
Mhm.
But and so just all of that stuff, man. I remember I had a meeting one day dealing with my job, and it was the lies and the just or maybe the I won't say lies, the perception that was being built
Right.
about
Because
me.
they was tarnishing your character at that point.
Exactly. I snapped. I
Mhm.
snapped. And when I say I snapped. Now, mind you, I had friends saying, you know, one of my really close friends, she was like, I think you are depressed and I think you're suffering from anxiety. I would bust out crying in the middle of a restaurant on girls' night. I could be on the phone talking and bust out crying, laying down, go to sleep at night, and I think about something. And I started having all these crying spells, and I didn't
Mhm.
know. And then these outbursts, that was the first time I think I really had an outburst. Yeah, I had the outburst. And I don't remember anything about this meeting. I just remember cussing my manager completely out.
Wow.
When I say
And I'm sure you got in trouble at that point.
I'm getting in trouble. What you gonna do? Write me up for speaking my mind? That's how I felt.
Mhm.
I just wish I knew what I said because I don't remember anything that I said because now I'm no longer myself. I'm no longer present. I'm no
Right.
longer I'm no longer in here. Something
Mhm.
else, somebody else is in here. And they took over. And anything that I probably ever felt toward that person was voiced. And
Mhm.
this thing here did not care about hurting nobody because I felt like everybody had hurt me,
Right.
especially that person.
Mhm.
And I didn't care anymore. So I snapped. I literally did. And it was after that meeting the HR person called me and she said, I'm about to email you some information. I know this is not you. Never met this woman in my life. She don't know me. But she
Oh,
said,
wow.
it's not you. She said, this can't be you. I want you to call this number and I want you to seek help. You need
Mhm.
help. She said, because I get it and I understand.
Wow.
You have a lot going on and you haven't.
Well, that was a blessing because if you wouldn't have heard that from her, you probably wouldn't have taken a step back and said,
Right.
okay.
I would have just kept going. I would have just kept going, but she was like, this is not this woman's character. She's been with this organization for the last 20 something years. And now
Right.
all of a sudden, maybe she have a right to blow up and turn
Hmm.
into a volcano. Because when I say I turned into a volcano and an earthquake, I came with earthquakes and aftershocks. That's how bad it was.
Right.
Mm, but it was a blessing in disguise because I was to the point where I couldn't pray. I'll talk to you about how I feel, and I'm very open and honest and transparent, you know. But praying ceased for me.
Yes.
Period. Singing ceased for me. I no longer wanted to hear music. I no longer wanted to go outside. I no longer wanted to do anything. I just wanted to just sit in the dark, leave me alone, don't talk to me, don't touch me, leave me be. That's where I got to that point. I
Hmm.
went into a shell. I would got approved to work from home, and soon after that, once I did, let me back up a little bit. When I did call the EAP number, I was able to get um, help and assigned a therapist, an awesome therapist,
Hmm.
uh, who helped me and got me so far.
Hmm.
That it's people feel black people anyway. They feel a certain way about therapists, but if you need help, they
Yeah,
do.
you need help.
What they gonna do for me? All they can do is just uh, you need help, get you some
Mhm.
help, because you would be surprised what talk therapy does. You're able to
Right.
get out all of those feelings, all of those issues, and you're able to get all of that stuff out
Yeah,
and
and
get
even for you, it's like yours stemmed all the way from childhood up
yeah.
into now your adulthood. So of course, you
I
had
didn't
years
realize
of
that it was therapy that helped me to
right.
do that. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that every trauma I had experienced throughout my life affected me in a certain way. And because I never dealt with it,
Mhm.
it turned into like this cancer,
Mhm.
which
Yes.
grew like a volcano and the shift in tectonic plates.
Mhm.
And so, yeah. And I was able to see that I developed anger issues.
Mhm. Yeah.
I've never really been a cusser. I would cuss every now and then if you made me mad, but I've never been a cusser. I am
Mhm.
fluent in cuss.
Oh, right, right. Oh, I can. I
I am fluent in cuss, you know, and but my therapist,
everybody can get it.
no, I'm fluent. I'm real fluent in cuss.
Mhm.
And so, my therapist explained to me because you held so much in, now when it comes out in aggression,
Mhm. Right.
So I had all of this anger for allowing people to dump on me, allowing
Mhm.
people to suck from me, allowing people to, and it was my own self fault, but I was mad at everybody else
Right, right.
because I was the only one that could have stopped it.
Mhm.
Because I didn't realize it, I was the only one that could have stopped it.
Right. That's
You
why it's
know,
important to have those boundaries set up. But that's something that we're not taught. Like me, for instance, I was just always big on, oh, listen to your parents, respect the elders, da 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 da. But you have to have peace. Your mind have to be right. Your sanity have to be right.
right,
Not worrying about nobody else and how they
right.
feel.
And it's you don't even think about that. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? When you're going through your life, you're just going through life. You're like, you know. Oh, I got demoted. It's just an event in life. Keep going. You know, oh, my son went to jail. Oh, it's just life. Keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my husband cheated on me. Oh, it's just life. Keep going.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, oh, you got all these ailments now. Oh, just keep going. You just keep going. And then you realize that you wake up one day and you realize you're not living life. You just exist. You're existing
Right.
in the matrix of life.
Mm-hmm.
You're just existing. You're just here.
Right.
And it
Yeah.
wasn't until I got the help from that therapist to help me see where, I made some wrong turns, and how, although people treated me the way I was treating myself, I
That part.
wasn't putting to me.
Because we have to love ourselves first and care
Right.
for ourselves first.
And I didn't. I didn't love
Right.
myself because they said I was fat. So I was fat. I lost weight trying to improve my overall health.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was too skinny. I'm like, well, make it fine. You want me fat or you want me skinny? What you want me to do?
Right.
And I cared so much about how people felt about me or what people thought of me. And now at this point, I don't
Mm-hmm.
care.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't care. But it was all of those opinions and words and all of that negativity and all of that bad energy I
Right.
had literally internalized, and it began to grow and
Right.
fester,
And
and
it
it,
would definitely eat away at you.
yeah,
It will.
it seeped into my psyche. And I could not focus. I couldn't pray. Like I said, I couldn't watch television. I couldn't. My mind was like this.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Mm-hmm.
how I felt. I was just waiting on the next bad thing to happen
Right.
because all this. Every time I turned around, there was something bad happening
And
to
that's
me.
what you're used to. Yeah. Now that's what your thought process is.
Hey, I'm this far in it, and what's next? I was like, okay, so what's next?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what? What? What's next? And
Yeah.
I realized I was running from some stuff that I should just stand still and just deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was afraid. I had fear.
Right.
Like I was paralyzed by fear. I would not speak up for myself or take up for myself or just really say how I really
How you was
truly
really feeling. Mm-hmm.
internalized all of that, you know? Um, and it was just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Life felt crazy to me until I met that therapist and he showed me all of these things that where I failed myself. You know,
Mm-hmm. Right.
well, a lot of times when you're dealing with mental illness, you think it's other people.
Mm-hmm.
Not. And then the misconception of having mental illness is we think it's the people walking down the street talking to themselves, but it's not.
It's not. Mm-mm.
It's
Nope.
when,
It's people like me and you, just regular
yeah,
working people. It's successful people,
yeah, you
celebrities, like everyone. No one is exempt if you don't deal with your issues.
exactly. So you go through all of the things that you go through, and you just keep bouncing back. So one day your ball is deflated,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know, and my ball got deflated. God blessed me. Oh, God is such an awesome God. Let me say this,
Yes.
that even when we are unable or spiritually incapacitated,
Mm-hmm.
that He still breathes for us.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Or I think I look at it as for a minute, I just kind of went on spiritual life support because
Mm-hmm.
I was not here.
Right.
I wasn't. I was not here. I was freaking out. I'm gonna get COVID and die.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna lose my apartment. I'm gonna lose my job. I'm gonna lose my car. You know, just
So basically, you just took on that fear and just let it consume you, and you just became fearful about everything,
right,
and just lived in that for a moment.
right. And then in this, I'm married, and I'm not getting the support that I need. I'm not getting the understanding that I need. I'm not
Right.
getting the touch therapy that I need.
Mm-hmm.
And so All of these things just compiled together, it just threw me over the edge. And I snapped. I literally snapped. The first snap, I cussed my boss out. The next time, I think uh, I shut down in one of my therapy sessions because they had pulled me off of work because they were scared I was going to kill somebody or myself. I mean,
Right.
I was there. I was walking a ticking time bomb.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was a ticking time bomb. I really was. I was a ticking time bomb. Even I didn't know what I was going to do next. Again, I set up in the dark. I remember it had been a whole week and I hadn't even taken a bath. I hadn't brushed
Mm-hmm.
my. I was just
Right.
here, desperate, you
Mm-hmm.
know, just in the dark. And my baby would come home and say, "Well, Mama, why are you just sitting here in the dark? I'm just sitting here in the dark, nothing on." I couldn't stand gospel music. I couldn't stand music. I couldn't stand to hear no preaching. I couldn't stand to hear nothing
Wow.
spiritually. When I say I was on spiritual life support, I was
Mm-hmm.
on spiritual life support. And I say that because that's the only way I survived this is that I literally went on spiritual life support. I would have these fits and not even remember what I had a fit about. My son
Wow.
said I called him at 1 o'clock in the morning and I was just hollering and cussing about something. And he said to this day he don't know. I don't remember.
Wow.
My coworker said that I called her and I was going off and I called back and I said, "I'm sorry, I apologize. I shouldn't have, said, I shouldn't have not allowed you to see me like that." And I kind of sort of remember that. My memory is
Mm-hmm.
all there. I
So
don't
the depression just like really took over. Like you just wasn't even yourself anymore.
I wasn't. Um, it was so bad that okay, so you get with EAP, you get 10 free sessions because of COVID. So I got my 10 free sessions, and my therapist contacted my psychiatrist and was like, "Say, she is not ready to be free. She
Wow.
needs extended care." And so they were like, "We want you to check yourself into a mental hospital because you got a lot of work to do."
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I was doing great.
So you thought those 10 sections were just enough.
Yeah, because I'm like, I'm thinking depression, anxiety, it ends.
Right.
It's just something that's happening right now. It's gonna be over tomorrow.
So did you go to a mental hospital?
I checked myself into a mental hospital because they were gonna come get me
Oh, okay.
because of some stuff I said. And
Right.
because see, I'm a very transparent person.
Mm-hmm.
Leave me out here if you want to. I'm gonna need the police after a while.
Mm-hmm.
So they can't. I drove myself. I went by myself. I drove myself. They took all my stuff from me. Um, they put me in this room. They asked me all these questions. I had a total meltdown. But
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm just lost for words and what saved me was that the mental hospital was full and they did not have any space because of COVID. They had to maintain the COVID rules. So they started putting people on what they call uh, inpatient, outpatient.
Mm-hmm.
So you the way it works is you have to be at the hospital at a certain time in the morning, and you get to go home in the evening, and you sit to sleep in your own bed.
Oh, right. So that way you can like get your treatment and have your sessions.
Right. You get your
Mm-hmm.
treatment and your sessions and your meds and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what saved me was that the COVID and the hospital was already full, so they couldn't keep me. So they
Mm-hmm.
put me on outpatient, inpatient, outpatient. I was an inpatient, but I was also outpatient, so meaning I could go home, but I had to be back every day at a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
Or they sent the police to your house to pick you up.
Oh, well, I mean, in a way that was good because you was able to get the help you needed
Mm,
without feeling a certain type way
right.
of staying in the actual hospital overnight, you know.
I didn't know how that was going to work because I went from individual therapy to group therapy. And
Mhm.
group therapy, you know, with the mind I had, I was really, really withdrawn. Like I didn't talk.
Mhm.
I listened to everybody else. And then when I realized everybody else was just as messed up as me,
Mhm.
then I relaxed a little bit.
Mhm.
And my therapist was so cold at what he does. He would ask you, "So, Camelia, how are you feeling today?" And
Mhm.
you're thinking that you're just having a conversation, and the whole time he's writing, he's assessing.
Right. Right.
And I never paid any attention to that because I wasn't present. You know, the whole time I felt like I was like somewhere within me. I was
Mhm.
not present. And he would assess me and write out my assessment, and then he would make us talk about these really hard things that we were dealing with. We did these different exercises, and these exercises was like peeling off burned scab,
Right.
my my life.
Right. Peeling back those layers that you've developed up over the years.
Right. And I'm like, why am I still hurting right here? I thought I dealt with this during the 10 sessions. And
Mhm.
I was like, well, that's why you here for another 3 months for some more.
Mhm.
And I just kind of, if I'm gonna get better, let me do this. So my whole thing was, when will this end? How
Right.
long am I gonna be like this? How long am I gonna not be able to think? How long am I gonna not be able to focus? How long am I gonna be feeling afraid of everything? You know, how long am I gonna be like this? Because
Mm.
I got to a point where I didn't like being like that.
Right. Yeah, of course.
Again, was I think was God, and it made me fight for my life.
Right. Because
You
that's
know,
what I was going to say. Like, you have to want it. There is no time frame. Like, you have to, it all depends on you. Like, how bad do you want to be set free? That's how I look at it. Do
right?
you want to stay bound, you know, by those things and not get the actual help and healing that you need? Or do you want to actually be free and get back to living yourself and your authentic life, you know?
And then that's the point that you have to be able to admit you have
Mm-hmm.
a problem. You have to be humble enough to reach out for help to get help for that problem, and then you have to be willing to do the work, no matter how hard it hurts.
Right. Yes,
'Cause
that part.
it hurts.
Mm-hmm.
I've never cried so much. I cried until I cried all my tears. I didn't have any more. I was
Mm-hmm.
just, I had so many outbursts, cussing fits, um, just violent. Like I will fight you in a minute, barefoot in the parking lot, no earrings. I didn't care, and I had to not want to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
I had to not want to be like that. And you think, it may you think that your situation is bad until you go into like group therapy.
Right.
You see other people's situation. It's just a little bit worse than yours.
Mm-hmm.
And in the midst of that, you start to begin to become grateful. Like,
Yeah.
man, so group therapy helped me to become grateful,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it made me kind of feel like that little helper in me kind of stood up. And I'm like, well, I know that I could help some of these people, but I gotta first help myself. So
Right.
let them see me help myself to encourage them so that they'll want to help themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because I
Mm-hmm.
can't physically help them. I'm not mentally capable of helping them, but I can help myself. So if I can become a role model, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
in this
Or even
situation
a voice, you know, like you're doing.
and allow people to see me heal
Mm-hmm.
and become vulnerable and allow people to see me heal. Let people see me heal.
Mm-hmm.
Some people they go through stuff and they don't want nobody to know.
Right. Yes.
I don't believe in secrets.
Right.
Secrets
And
get
plus to be that shame, you know.
yeah. Well, I mean, there's no shame.
Mm-hmm.
Shame should not even be a word.
Mhm.
because we all done some stuff where it's called having that human experience. We are these spirits having this human experience, and unfortunately, in this human experience, we're going to experience things that humans experience.
Right. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And that's life. That's life. You gotta want to be helped, like I said.
Mhm. Well, Dion, it seems like you're doing so great and amazing. Like, are you still in therapy now, or now are you just like on your back to your like? Did you get back to your faith walk, or like how's that going for you?
As far as my faith is concerned, I ask God, why am I here? What's my
Mhm.
purpose? Why am I here? Why did you do all of this for me? You saved my life again. Why? What do you want? What is it? And I went on this spiritual journey and I found this beautiful relationship with God again in a whole nother way. Where I'm noticing everything. I notice the rain, the color of the trees.
Mhm.
Um, I collect crystals now because of the significance of what it just means to have that nature, a piece of that nature, a piece of that unusual beauty and
Right.
creation of God. I collect plants. You can see them back there in the background.
Mhm.
And I love plants. These are things that have helped me cope with my anxiety.
Mhm.
Found something, I found a new way to connect to God. And I connect to Him through nature. Because
Mhm.
I'm in a pandemic. I couldn't go nowhere. Do
Right.
something.
Mhm.
So I brought nature in. I started collecting plants. I think my first plant was gifted to me to make me feel better. And I gave it a name, which is my first plant baby name is BB. And so from BB came a Kill and a Kia and ADO and Lily Renee and Tasha and Dr. Turby.
But
you
no,
know,
whatever you have to do to keep your sanity and create that peace around you, because we are the only ones that can, establish that. Nobody else, because as you saw, the world takes from you, so
right,
you have to create that space for yourself.
right. And it's because I'm such a nurturer, that's my natural ability. That's something that's just me naturally.
Hmm.
I can nurture my plants.
Hmm.
Believe it or not, I even nurture my crystals. I wash them. You know, people touch them. They're pretty. People want to touch them. I wash them. What?
Hmm.
We live in a pandemic. You know what I'm saying? So I care for my crystals. Somebody asked me, "Do you talk to your crystals?" Sure, I do. I talk to my plants. I talk to my crystals. I sing to them. I dance with them. And to raise my own internal vibration, for my
Hmm.
own mentality, my own mind, my own spirit. You know what I'm saying? When I'm talking to my what people would say rocks and plants, I'm talking to God.
Hmm. Hmm.
Did He not create that? Did He not make it? Is that not a part of Him? Is that not a part of His idea, His thought, His
Yes. Hmm.
hey? So I use those tools to communicate and to kind of keep me grounded.
Hmm.
You know, we got to stay grounded.
Hmm.
I see life totally different now. So yeah, I am doing better. Is it easy? No. It's a daily thing for me
Right.
to keep my mind together. I
Right.
have to I meditate. I got into meditation. Meditation has been awesome for me. I would suggest that everybody meditate because
Mhm.
it would behoove you to
But
go.
no, we're supposed to. It's even in the Bible, for us Christian folks. The word says meditate,
Yeah,
but
and just close your mind off to
hmm.
everything else. Close your mind off to the world, and just breathe.
Hmm.
Just breathe. You
Yeah.
know, I am a firm believer of meditation, sound therapy. You love music, turn it on,
Hmm.
dance,
Hmm.
Sing loud, even if you can't sing, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you need to do to spark that inner joy within yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, prayer is so important.
Right. And prayer is not that hard. People make it seem like prayer is just something that you have to really be resourceful on or like know all these words. There's no right or wrong way. Like just you and I talking right here today is it could be prayer. You know, it's just regular conversation.
It
And
is.
that's all it is. Because at the end of the day, God knows our thoughts and our hearts. So you could still be praying and think something totally different. So then it's like, well, how serious are you? You
Right.
know?
To make it easy for somebody, get into gratitude prayers.
Hmm.
Just saying thank you. Thank you, God, for waking me up this morning. Thank
Hmm.
you for being allowed to breathe. When I got out of my bed, all of my limbs had worked. All of my internal organs were functioning just fine. Thank you, God. Thank you that I had eyes to see. I
Yeah.
had hands to touch and feet to walk. Thank you, God, that I got out of a bed.
Right. That you
I
still
had in
walk
my day.
moving. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Thank you. And so I got into gratitude prayers. I
Hmm.
asked for certain things
Hmm.
because that's my birthright. God said that I could ask for certain things. My son is in the
Of course.
background waving. But I am but I get into gratitude prayers and I
Hmm.
don't really, I enjoy telling God thank you.
Yes.
You realize I don't have to be here. I could
Hmm. Hmm.
be
Right.
sleeping.
And see your kids and grandkids, you know?
Right. you know. And so I thank God for my family. I thank God for my trials and my tribulations, my ups and my downs, my tears of sadness, my tears of joy. I thank God for everything. I thank
Hmm.
Him for the trees, the rain, the ground, the candles, the everything. Anything I can think of. I have a gratitude journal. I write 3 things at the end of the day down when I'm not tired and sleepy that I'm grateful for, that God gave me, that God did for me.
Yeah.
Nothing would exist without Him,
Hmm.
period.
Right.
And so He is the ultimate source for me, but I had to make my way back around.
Hmm.
It's been the most beautiful journey.
Hmm.
It's been a beautiful journey, finding other ways to cope with life, finding other ways to connect to Him, making Him my center, you know, saying,
Yeah.
hey, God, I'm gonna need you. I can't do this, without you. So let's go.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what I do. I wake up in the morning, wash my face, brush my teeth. Sometimes I make my bed first. Sometimes I don't. I sit in my chair and I just begin to thank God. You
Hmm.
know, I thank God, or I may sit on the floor in my meditation pose. I do my gratitude prayers, and then I go into my meditation.
Hmm.
You know, sometimes I have a mantra. I am blessed and highly favored. I'm a child of the King. I am one with God. You know, whatever. And sometimes I just sit there and I'm just quiet and I just focus on my breath.
Right.
I receive whatever God is trying to tell me,
Hmm.
whatever He's trying. When I don't pray and I don't meditate, I'm all over the place.
Hmm.
You know,
And
I'm
that's what I was
all.
gonna say. You know, that's important because that's allowing Holy Spirit to actually lead you. You know, especially if you do it in the morning, like me. I like to do mine first thing in the morning because I feel like that sets the tone for my day. If I don't do that, my day is off. Like, I mean, I haven't done it in a long time, but I could tell the difference if I miss that step. You know,
I
so
mean, it helps to set your intention.
mhm,
I woke up Friday and I'm like, I'm going to have a great day.
mhm.
Not because it's Friday, but because it's a day and I'm in it and it's going to be great. You know,
Right.
and I guess what? I had a really good day.
Mhm.
I had a really good
Now,
day.
sometimes I still sing that kids song. It's gonna be a good day. We're gonna have a
Oh,
great day. Like sometimes I get up singing that, and
yeah,
that helps me a lot too, just to remember like even if something bad happens. It's okay. Even you may hear something that you don't want to hear. It's okay. The day's still gonna go on. You're still gonna live. You're still gonna make it. So
Right,
for me, it's just about not dwelling on those negative things and that negative energy that the world try to put out there on you.
right. And it's just another way to just deal with everything that because life is going to continue to happen. It's not
Mm-hmm.
going to stop and it's not going to cater to you. And
No.
one thing they teach us in therapy is that life isn't fair.
Mm-hmm.
So what, you didn't like it? You think life care? No, it's going to keep on going.
Mm-hmm.
You got to find a way to fit in. You got to find a way to cope because life is not going to cater to you.
Right. Right.
It's not going to bend for you. You have to be able to create your own
Mm-hmm.
life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We want life to, people think they act like life owe them something.
Mm-hmm.
No, life doesn't owe you anything.
No. Mm-mm.
You have to intentionally live life on purpose with an intention,
Right. Yes.
period.
Yeah.
So,
So that goes into my next question. Like, what led you to create Woo Sa Just Breathe?
this mental breakdown,
Mm-hmm.
people need to be reminded that you just need to chill, breathe. Life comes at us fast. That's not cliche, that's a real statement.
Mm-hmm.
Life do come at a lot of us real fast. And we don't know if we're going or coming or leaving or arriving. We just steady little worker bees, just trying to get it
Right.
done, you
Right.
know. But you got to find time to breathe,
Mm-hmm.
time to hear the birds.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes in the morning, I sit in my chair and I just listen to the birds outside my window. A sound a lot of us don't even pay attention to.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes I live near a freeway, so I can hear the cars going up and down the freeway, and I just listen to the sounds around me. That's what I love about meditation. And sometimes when, I'm feeling up to it and I'll go to the park and I'll sit on top of the park table and I'll close my eyes and I'll let the sun just kind of like beam on my face and I just kind of like, you got to be present because you're in the public. But I just, because you're in the public, you know what I'm saying? You don't want nobody to
Mm-hmm.
walk up on you, but I just kind of like, just let go a little bit.
Yeah.
I just
No,
kind
I
of
totally get it because sometimes I do that, but I stay in my car. I stay in my car and I
I
sit.
want to be in the element. One day I'm gonna get, brave enough to sit on the grass on the blanket or something. But I'm scared.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
But yeah, you need time to breathe. People need to be reminded.
Mm-hmm.
Breathe.
Yes.
You ever had somebody walk up to you and they, oh my God, you're like, breathe, oh, breathe.
Yeah. And that's so funny you're saying because I was just telling my classmate this earlier. Like last week, I literally just wrote on a post-it note, uh, take a deep breath, just breathe. And
Yeah,
I have it sitting like right there on my wall. So when I do feel anxious or, my blood pressure about to rise, just remember to breathe. And like people don't even understand how much just taking that 1 second to breathe really does help.
yeah,
It resets your brain, like it resets something in you to where you just don't have to go there, you can come out of that state that you're in or about to go in.
right. And I've got all this stuff going on.
It's okay.
But sometimes you got to remember. Well, no, every time you got to remember breathe. And that's where Woodstock comes from. It came from me having this breakdown, not breathing. It
Mm-hmm.
came from me not being present. It
Mm-hmm.
came from me not being mindful. It came from me not loving myself. Self
Right.
love. I am a self love advocate. And ladies, self love is not just getting your nails done and getting your hair done.
No,
Self
it's
love
really
is
not.
taking time for you to just sit and sup with you. You don't
Mm-hmm.
always got to be around somebody. You don't always got to have company. take some time out to find out who you are, what you like, what you want to do. Love on yourself.
Right.
I believe in affirmation.
Yes.
I am
Mhm.
beautiful. I am talented. I am this. I am that. I no longer will I entertain anything that does not serve my higher self.
Right. The right. That doesn't lift you up. Mhm.
Right. We got to learn how to lift ourselves up. And then
Mhm.
once we begin to treat ourselves good, guess what? It
Yeah.
flows over and other people will begin to treat you good too. When
Yeah.
you start respecting yourself, other people are going to respect you as well.
Right.
Because you're going to put off that aura that I ain't that girl. I don't take that
Mhm.
stuff. Don't come here with that.
Right. Right.
You know, it won't be in a aggressive manner or aggressive way, but people know who to play with and who
Right.
to play with. I'm just
Yeah.
I'm a little
Mhm.
bit, but people know. So it's been a crazy journey. I was telling my mom, I was like, why did this happen to me? And losing my mind, and I said I lost my mind. I did lose my mind. Losing my mind was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me
Mhm.
because I made it back.
Right. And that's the beauty of it. When you can see just more than, oh, this happened to me or what was me, like when you can actually see, like you said, the gratefulness, the thankfulness, the loving yourself, like it just makes it even more better of understanding what you are here for. Like you said, now you can speak to other people, whether it be young girls or women. Who knows where the Lord is going to take you? But just having that set up to where, no, you are in this, but you can get out of this and you can move forward and keep going because you are here for a reason. Because I'm
Exactly.
here speaking to you today.
Exactly. I mean, for my friends and my family, my sisters, and my dad, my mom, my children,
Mhm,
my grandbabies. I thank y'all. All my friends. My
mhm,
friends were excellent.
mhm,
I even have to thank you because, man, you were right there. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? And I'm not just gonna name all my friends, even though I only have a handful now. But but I
Right,
thank them. I thank all y'all. If you guys get a chance to watch this, thank you for being there for me in one of the most weakest moments of my life.
right.
When I didn't even want my own life, I didn't even realize I am a gift. I didn't
Mhm,
realize I didn't see myself as special. I didn't
mhm.
see myself as the gem that God has created me to be. I didn't see myself as that.
Right, yeah.
But I'm so grateful. Like I'm grateful to everybody because
Right. And the
everybody.
one thing I can say too that I noticed, throughout the process, no, nobody judged. Well, from what I saw, but
Mhm.
I wasn't around the whole, every moment, but there was no judgment. Like you was literally able to be who you was in that moment, and and keep going, whether it was good or bad. Because sometimes you didn't want to be bothered, you
Right.
know.
Fear
But
was
people understood that and respected it, and some people still showed up anyway. But you
yeah.
know,
The fear for my family, my sisters, and my kids was because I had a history of suicide.
hmm
So that was their fear. Like, no, she'll do it. She'll take a shot at it. So I remember them. Well, they would keep me on FaceTime for hours, 5, 6 hours while they worked, or
hmm
I would fall asleep. And my son, who never calls me now, but during that time, my kids were great. My daughter would come over here every single day when she got off of work. Every day she would call me every day. I was always on FaceTime with somebody constantly. They were watching me sleep because there was a point where, because I was so mentally discombobulated, they put me on medication,
hmm
and they put me on medication. And so I basically would just always be asleep,
Mm.
and they said that my brain needed time to heal. So that's why they put you to sleep.
Right.
My brain needed time to heal. But I am on meds now to help with my anxiety. I am still in therapy, and I still have a psychiatrist that I see that I talk to once a month. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the process of looking for a new therapist, but uh, I do attend therapy as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So that's
um,
good, because I like that you mentioned that because even though you are doing better and you're coping very well and back working and all that, you're just still like there is no arrival. So I don't, I'm glad that you said, well, hey, I'm still doing XYZ. I'm still taking these steps because yeah, you have to keep your sanity. Like it just doesn't go away overnight.
it doesn't. It doesn't, and it's a process. You know, when
Hmm.
I look back, almost a year ago, at where I was and where I am now, you know, all glory go to God.
Hmm.
Seriously, because I could have been gone on somewhere. You
Hmm.
know, he
Right.
not only did he keep my life, he gave me back a new life.
I knew, yeah.
Somebody asked me, I was telling somebody, what did I say? I said, "Oh, I like the cuss in me because people listen to me now." Before nobody would ever listen to me. But then when I
Right.
get riled up, they're like, because they're not used to it. They're not
Hmm.
used to me. They used to me just being so laid back, nonchalant. I'm real, chill. I ain't quiet, but I'm just real, okay, whatever. But when I growl now, people like, oh, okay, man.
Hmm.
You know, I would let people, something as simple, letting people in front of me in the store, have people just cut in front of you like you're not standing there.
Hmm.
But I would never say nothing. And I had this experience. I was with my god sister, and I was like, "Excuse me, ma'am, the line is back. It's back there. You need to move."
Right.
So, everybody was like, "You better, girl, you better move." So which is why I'm still in therapy because that's still mixed in with a little bit of anger. So I still
Right.
have a little bit of anger, that I'm working through and trying to pinpoint why am I angry, you know
Hmm.
Um, so those are the things that I'm still working through. That's why I say I'm coping with some things. I believe I've overcome depression because I bathe regularly. I wash my face. I'm cute right now. I have, you get what I'm saying?
Oh, you look good. You look nice.
Thank you.
And your hair,
So
your hair has grown a lot too.
actually, I this is from a cut. It was cut. This is the
Okay.
cut. Yeah. So yeah, but just trying to keep myself together
Mhm.
and just kind of spread the word about mental illness. That's my
Right.
number one thing. And that's why Woosah was born, is to spread the word about mental illness and remind people, hey, you're going to have some days that they're going to weigh heavy on you. But if
Hmm.
you have four of those days, then you have days of smiling and having some joy. Get you some help. It's okay if you need to go talk to somebody. Get you
Right.
some help. It has
Hmm.
actually even sparked a a little bug in me. I think I want to go be a psychotherapist. I wouldn't mind
Right.
being a therapist.
Oh yeah, I was thinking that too.
People need somebody to talk to, and they need to be
Mhm.
able to talk to somebody that
Somebody
understands,
relatable.
somebody that's been there. Like my therapist, one of my therapists, he suffers from anxiety,
Hmm.
you know, and so he understands when you just feel like the whole wide world is going to crumble. I stay away
Yeah.
from things that could possibly trigger me. Stay away from the news. Stay away
Hmm.
from social media so much. Go on TikTok. TikTok, you just laugh. Just be laughing.
Yeah.
You just gotta have some social media. Go on TikTok. TikTok make you laugh. Go on Instagram. Find you some funny videos. What they call reels. I love
Right.
watching people reels. It makes you laugh. You have to every day decide to be, joyful. Every day you got to make that, your responsibility. Your main choice in life is to be happy. Find some reason to be happy.
All right. Yeah.
Make that your personal intention, your endeavor every day is to be happy. Things are going to happen. People are going to come along. They're going to upset you, but
Hmm.
don't let them steal your joy. Say what you're going to say to them and keep it moving.
Keep moving. Right. Right.
You
Yeah.
know, I
So,
woke
what
up.
are you doing now, like business wise, or have you officially started speaking yet about the mental health? Or
I
I know you have a podcast.
I'm in the process of revamping my podcast, which was formerly Cafe Conversations. So I'm in the process of revamping my podcast over and transitioning it over to Woosah. Let's Breathe.
Okay.
But I'm going to leave all of my old shows so people can kind of see the progression and the growth. Um,
Hmm.
and I'm getting ready to start a jewelry, online jewelry business, I guess you can say, because I love crystals. So I
Hmm.
want to get into, I'm in the process of learning how to wrap crystals and make crystal jewelry. Now, of course, I did not make this. I bought it, but just little things like this chakra bracelet or
Hmm.
whatever, and then the matching necklace. So just little things like that. But I want to use natural stones, natural
Hmm.
stones, because again, I have this fetish with rocks. Um, and offer, plants, plant care, um, and things of that nature. So that's what I'm looking forward to is trying to get an online store going where I
Hmm.
can kind of showcase some of the things that have helped me. Maybe get into selling singing bowls and sage. And for everybody to jump on my girl, sage is not a sin. If you burn sage, you're just burning it just to kind of like for the aroma. We're not doing no rituals and spells and witchy poo and hoodoo. We're not doing that, people. Okay, don't mess with Shalitha. Okay? So just whatever. I'm at a point to where I don't care what people think about what I do or how I live my life. I don't care. As long as God is pleased, and trust me, when He not pleased with me, I get
He'll let
spiked.
you know. Right.
You know what I'm saying? When He not pleased with me, He knows. He'll tap me on my shoulder.
Hmm.
You know, if I get out of line or if it's something that I need to pull into alignment with Him, he'll give me he'll show me a dream or something. So whatever. But just those are the things that I want to do next. Revamping the podcast. I'm working on learning how to wrap my crystal jewelry and get into that. Finding out what all I need to do to start that. And everybody keeps telling me, asking me, when am I going to write this book? When am I going to write this book? So clearly, y'all know something I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
somebody knows something I don't know. I don't know about this book.
Well, you gotta tell you when it's time. That's all I can say.
Yeah, it will. It will.
Yeah.
I thought about taking my journals of this whole journey and maybe turn it into like a memoir
Yeah.
and put it out there so that people can see that even when you are crazy, you're still normal.
Hmm.
Even when you feel disengaged or just not being a part of the rest of the world, you're still here.
Hmm.
And you just have to find some kind of way within yourself to want to stay here and
Yeah.
want to be here and be healed
Right.
and,
Yeah.
and just woosah,
Right.
breathe.
That's very important.
Mhm.
Yep. So, how can anyone reach out to you that may be interested in what Deon Stafford is all about, or what she has to say? Um, I think this was very good and very important to share because, like you said, you was the strong one for so long. You was carrying your family for so long, and nobody knew, um, how you were feeling and your thought process was on things.
You can find me. I do have a Instagram page for woosah. Let's breathe on
Mhm.
Instagram, and let me get it real quick. Forgive me. I just told y'all my brain is not all the way, not always on point. But you can find me on Instagram, and it is under, if it works for me, Pretty Girl Media 8372. That's my handle on Instagram. And again, it's Pretty Girl Media 8372. And you can also listen to my podcast on anchor.fm / Woosah Let's Breathe. I'm on Anchor, Pandora, Spotify,
Uh,
Apple Music, Google Podcast, anywhere, iHeartRadio podcast, anywhere where you get your major podcast from. I'm on all of those platforms. I am in, the last time I checked, I'm in about 28 countries. I'm being heard in about 28 different countries.
oh, congratulations.
Thank you. And I got to hurry up and get some content out to the people because I have somebody is binge listening to
Oh, wow.
my
See,
old shows.
you are needed.
So a lot of people binge listening to my old shows because I think the last couple of shows talks about the breakdown in detail. And
Hmm.
you you listen to all of those shows, you can hear my progression where I'm
Right.
blaming everybody, and then you can kind of see where, okay, maybe it ain't everybody's fault, maybe I had a little something to do with it, and
Mhm.
then you hear, okay, so I can see the sun now. I'm on top of the ground, and the ground not on top of me. So you can
Mhm.
kind of hear that progression off in that
Right.
podcast.
Okay.
So,
Well, Deanne, I just want to thank you. Tonight has been awesome, awesome, awesome. And I know you said, just taking it one day at a time and just dealing with everything. But I do want to thank you for just joining me on tonight, sharing your story of overcoming depression and coping with anxiety, because the people need to know, that they are not alone, and it's millions of people out here dealing with it. So,
and it's
and
understanding.
and it's okay to get help.
Right. It's okay to get help. It's okay. And find something that you love to do, you know.
Yeah.
Start a collection. Maybe it may not be crystals, maybe it may not be plants, but find something that you like to do. Something, we're all creative. Whatever we need is in our hands,
Mhm.
you know.
Right.
So find something to do. Make a quilt. You don't build a quilt. You make a quilt. Build a dollhouse. Just something. Do
Mhm.
puzzles. Coloring is
Right.
another awesome therapeutic thing
Yeah,
that I.
that's what I was gonna say. Coloring and journaling.
Yes, I'm an avid journalist, journaler. I journal. I color. I have like I said, a singing bowl. So I play my singing bowl. um, which you say the singing bowl, what does it do? It helps all of the cells within your body become in alignment and in tune. So I'll
Mhm.
play my singing bowl. I'll listen to, my light jazz, or I'll listen to um, my indigenous music, which is flute music, and it's so beautiful. I listen to my sounds of nature, those types of
Mhm.
things. Find you, boo. Find you. Go inside and find you. You'll
Right.
find you in
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to end this live, and I just want to thank you all for tuning in. And for the ones who will catch the replay, don't forget to comment, like, and share on this video to someone who you may feel that this can help. Just share, share, share. And y'all have a good night. Bye.
there. Bye. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
All righty.